Welcome to a Milk Market Tidbit for the December Dairy Products Report that USDA released yesterday afternoon. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm recording this on Friday, February the 6th. So with the Dairy Products Report, it kind of finalizes everything for December. And just to orient you to this slide, anything that's in this third column is a final that changed from the previous. If it's green, it went up. If it's red, it went down. And then these last three columns, if the typical number I have was higher than the actual, I put that in green, but if it was lower, I put that in red, and the same for StoneX. So we'll just kind of plot these out so we can see a better idea of what's going on. Here is the daily cheese production. We'd been on this really long-term trend, and then we kind of slipped off here for a little bit, but now we're right on that, and the December 2025 cheese was the highest level of daily cheese production we've ever had. I like to look at how much milk goes into cheese, and that's just a 10-to-1 ratio. Again, we've been on this upward trend, and we're basically right on that right now, except it may have gone up a little bit. And we did have a 65.3% of the milk went into cheese. Now, American production had really kind of flattened out here for just a little bit, and we've been on this long-term upward trend, but this last month was higher than we would have expected it to be on a seasonal basis. The difference between these 2 points is what I always call the seasonal basis, and all I do is take the average of the ones that we had previously and say, well, it should change by about the same amount, but in fact, it was much higher. Cheddar cheese is one that kind of drives the spot market, the kind of same sort of thing. We've been on a huge upward trend. We'd gone for a while to where we had been throttling back cheese production, but now it's beginning to come up, and it was above the seasonal adjusted level, and it's beginning to come up to a higher level. Italian cheeses is the other major part, and again, we've been on this long-term trend, and we're actually above that with this report, and we're above what I would call the seasonal adjusted level. And that is the highest amount of Italian cheese that we've ever had, period, let alone in December. Whey production has kind of fallen off for the last couple of years. It was particularly low here in December of 2024, but it started to recover here just a little bit. But whey production is definitely off from what it was prior to December of 2022. Butter production is very seasonal, and we've been on kind of a long-term trend, which has now kind of been blown away by the short-term trend. And so we produced a significant amount of butter in December. And in fact, that's the highest amount of butter that we'd ever made in December. I was looking at this little, what I'd call a trend here in November. We had another one back here, and we see that happen every now and then. But again, we've now come back to an all-time high in butter. Ice cream production is typically low this time of year. It's very seasonal, but again, the last 3 years has really kind of gone off of the long-term trend, and we produced maybe just a little bit more than we would have expected, but ice cream production is pretty low for December. And there's the long-term trend, so we're off of that quite a bit in these last 3 years. Yogurt production is strong, but it came down from the seasonal adjusted level, so it's not going up quite as fast as I thought it would be, but it's, again, reasonably strong. However, this time of year it tends to be kind of at its low point. Cottage cheese is my favorite because this thing just continues to go ballistic. Again, we're above the seasonal adjusted number, and this thing just continues to take off here. So the Dairy Products Report does kind of finish up this week. We don't have much else going on. We will get the statistical uniform prices next week between the 12th and 14th, and so that will be the next Milk Market Tidbit.